From the Classic 107 studios in downtown Winnipeg, 107 Live for Birchwood Jaguar, the art of performance.
Beautiful strumming of Kevin Laliberté, one of the members of the Sultans of String, who are here this evening performing at the West End Cultural Centre to promote their album Christmas Caravan, a wonderful CD. You want to talk about different kind of Christmas music? I know there's lots of great Christmas music out there, the traditional stuff, but this is something new and fantastic. Go to the concert. You won't be disappointed. And I'm not disappointed by the fact that I've got Kevin here and the other founding member of the Sultans of String, Chris McKhool. Welcome to the both of you.
Thanks for having us.
So for people that aren't familiar with the Sultans of String, who wants to talk about how the group came to be?
Well, it's funny. I met Kevin, it must be almost 14 years ago now, that he was actually, I had another guitar player booked on a jazz gig I was doing, and Kevin came in as a substitute guitar player, but he started warming up. He was playing this rhythm on his guitar. And I was like, what is that? That rhythm's amazing. And he's like, that's rumba flamenca. And I quickly learned that you could put that rhythm behind pretty much any song, and it just gives it that energy and drive that I really fell in love with. And I was like, we got to start playing music together. So we ended up with a gig in North York, north of Toronto, on Friday nights, where we had like 3 hours to fill, and we only knew half a dozen songs together. So we spent most of the night just making music up off the top of our heads. That filled our first 3 albums, all that music that we created.
Now, you guys use all sorts of different rhythms in your music. Tell me a bit about that.
Well, there's a lot of, diversity in influences for different styles of music that individually, both Chris and I and the other members of the band as well, have studied or have experienced playing. Plus, we're all sort of into, exploring what's out there in this amazing modern world of the interconnector, where you can hear music from any place around the world and be exposed to it that way. So we just kind of try to blend it all together in a strange, exotic, accessible, tasty stew. How's that?
Starting to get hungry.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's one thing to have those backgrounds, but when you take individual songs that you write, works that you compose, do you go in thinking, I want this to have, a bit of a gypsy sound, or I want this to have more of an Arabic sound, or how does it work?
You know the 1,000 monkeys in the typewriter analogy, right? We just rip the song back to the studs and try it in a dozen different styles and see which way tells the story the best. But I feel really lucky as a violin player because I get to play with one of Canada's best guitar players over here, and he can play pretty much any style on this thing. Let's give them a super whirlwind version of some of the styles. So you heard a little bit of Charlie Brown's Christmas. Kevin is a great jazz player.
Oh boy, here we go.
And bossa nova. Cuban salsa. Gypsy jazz from Eastern Europe.
Yikes.
Arabic rhythms. East Indian Bhangra.
Wow, okay.
And, of course, 80s rock.
Oh, you're killing me. All right. I get the idea.
And he did all that while riding a unicycle in the studio here.
Yeah, you didn't see that. Watch
And
the video after.
Juggling flaming bowling pins,
Well, how many of you are there in the group, permanent members?
It's kind of modular, like
Yeah.
IKEA. As long as when we get a call for a gig, I call up Kevin, and if he's available, I say, quorum, and we take the gig. And I love playing just with Kevin because he's such a tasty guitar player, and there's lots of room for the music to breathe. But all the other band members that join us are so incredible. We've got Cuba's best export in Rosendo Chendeleon, who's joining us tonight at WEC. He brings a whole world of Cuban percussion and world percussion, Arabic rhythms, and pretty much everything under the sun, African rhythms. We've got Eddie Payton as well on guitar. He's fabulous. And we've got Drew Burston from right here in Winnipeg, originally from here in Winnipeg. And he brings a great pop sensibility. He's played with big stage artists like Chantal Kraviazuk and Melanie Dome, but dozens of jazz bands. And we've got Rebecca Campbell joining us for this whole Christmas tour. So this is kind of a funny show for us because those who have seen Sultans of String before are used to us being pretty much an instrumental band. But in this Christmas show, there's a lot of singing. So she's going to be singing a bunch of the leads tonight at WEC, but the fun part is that all the band members were all singing too on stage. So there's going to be 6 of us, and hopefully getting the audience joining us too.
Well, on this Christmas CD, Christmas Caravan, if we could turn our attention to this fantastic album, how did the idea come to make a Christmas CD?
It was, again, one of those happy accidents. We were doing one of our symphony concerts with Lucas Walden of the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. And then we went out for dinner, and he was saying to us, you guys, you should do a Christmas show. And I was not immediately convinced. I was like, really? Does that sound very world music-y? And he said, no, I could totally see it. And then we started sketching it out, and literally by the time the entree came, we had the whole framework of the show and the CD scrawled out on a cocktail napkin, and then just started plugging away at it. And there were so many amazing surprises. It was such a journey, like our version of Greensleeves. We call it Turkish Greensleeves because we actually, through the miracle of Facebook, emailed an MP3 of our Arabic rhythm version of it to Istanbul, and these fantastic Roma string players that play with all the Turkish pop stars ended up doing this beautiful arrangement of it and recording it and then emailing back their parts to us. And our Kwanzaa song was another really fun one where we had Richard Bona, who is one of the world's top 5 bass players and beautiful singer. And we called him up, and just kind of like, he had never heard of us before, but we asked him if he wanted to collaborate with us, and he finally agreed. I think we had to wear him down a little bit like water on a stone, but he agreed, and he really took that song to Africa and back, and he just added so much richness and arrangement, and that was true with all the guests. And another one was The Little Swallow, El Vuelo, kind of a mashup between The Little Swallow, which is a Ukrainian New Year's carol. A lot of people know it as Carol of the Bells, but that came later. That's the vocal version. So this is a traditional song. And we went to Prague and recorded with the City of Prague Symphony Orchestra. And that was amazing to hear those Eastern European musicians just chew up those parts.
It's a beautiful, beautiful song. I just want to thank you guys for coming in and sharing this with us. And what can audiences expect in tonight's show?
Well, I like to say that we take the music seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. So we're there to have a great time, and we always do. And we're there to give the audience a great time. And so far they seem to be enjoying what we do. So yeah, you're gonna hear Pretty much every style of music that ever was invented, I think, something like that. And maybe some that haven't quite been invented yet. I don't know. All of your Christmas favorites done in a slightly different way. And maybe a few on-stage shenanigans. I don't know. I can't guarantee that.
There's barbecue lighters involved.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, thank you so much to the both of you. Tonight's concert, I know, is going to be fantastic. The CD is gorgeous. I love it. Especially in times like these, it's nice to have music that reminds you how small the world is, and that brings so much joy to all of these pieces, and energy and thoughtfulness, and how you guys have arranged these and put these together. So thank you for that. And I look forward to seeing what else the Sultans of Strings come up with in the months and years to come.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having us. Stay tuned. More to come, for sure.
We're going to leave the segment with one of the works from the CD. Who wants to introduce it? What are we going to hear?
Well, if you wanted to play The Little Swallow, what we did was we already had a song that we wrote called Al Vuelo, which means on the wing, and it's a bulerías form, so it's a song form from the streets of southern Spain, and it was just one of those happy accidents where we were kind of looking for connections, and we realized that this bulerías rhythm really worked with the Carol of the Bells, the Little Swallow tune. And so what you'll hear in the song is us knocking it back and forth and layering over it. And then, like any good Christmas show, we shoehorn about 7 different Christmas carols in there. If you listen really carefully, you'll hear quotes from different carols.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. So from the album Christmas Caravan, this is The Little Swallow, Al Vuelo, right here on Winnipeg's Classic 107.
107 Live is Classic 107's intimate concert series, brought to you by Birchwood Jaguar, the art of performance.